Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video breakdown, we're going to be discussing and talking about DeFi potential coming to the XRPL and how, for the first time ever, we as utility bag holders of the digital asset XRP are going to be able to put our liquidity to work in so many different ways: lending, borrowing, liquid staking, generating yield and passive rewards while not having to sell our XRP. We are entering into a massive era where these things are going to become the new norm, and you need to be paying attention to detail. And in today's video breakdown, I'm going to show you all how not only are our private community members already taking advantage of these DeFi solutions on the XRPL, but I'm also going to show you all that financial institutions are 110% interested in integrating these DeFi solutions into traditional finance. So with that being said, sit back, relax, let's tap into some panel discussions and take a look at some ongoing developments in the DeFi ecosystem on the XRPL. So first, we're going to start here, because we need to understand that we're entering into an era where certain portions of our digital asset bags, we're not going to have to sell. So this is Bill Bearhart. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Probably not. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Abra. Take a second and listen to what he says his organization provides. And I'm going to show you all how here at CYPRX, some of our community members are already tapping into our Wealth 28 Club and doing this right now with their digital assets in a successful way. Take a second and listen.
Can you get into more on what Abra does?
Sure. So we're a wealth management platform is our primary function. We help investors take advantage of the opportunities in crypto markets, simply to invest in crypto, earn yield on crypto holdings. As a fiduciary, we provide strategies on investing in crypto, and also enable high net worth investors to borrow against crypto holdings. So if you've been holding for a while and you're sitting on significant profits, but you don't want to sell, you can borrow against the Bitcoin to continue to hold and take advantage of future gains. So that's a very popular product for us now.
So notice how he said high net worth individuals that don't want to sell, that want to put their liquidity to work, they can borrow, they can lend it, right? All of these things are available to us as retail investors in the now. And we have to understand that DeFi enhances the utility of said digital asset, as we've heard from previous panel discussions.
Years ago, DeFi actually brought utility to ETH, right? Now, if you're holding ETH, you can lend it, you can borrow, you can stake, you can do so many things.
And so think about this in terms of XRP, right? Having DeFi capabilities on the XRPL to be able to lend, to borrow against our XRP, to liquid stake our XRP to generate yield, right? All of these things, they're coming to the XRPL, and some are already available on the XRPL right now as we speak. Now, I want to come over here before we get into the fundamental developments, and I want you to listen to this panel discussion from the staking summit that just took place in Buenos Aires just the other day, and listen to what these industry leading experts say about institutions being interested in DeFi, right? Asking for staking for Bitcoin. So that way you all don't think that institutions are not interested in these DeFi solutions. But then also listen to the panelists talk about being able to lend, to borrow against your digital assets, to borrow USDC against your digital assets, and to take that USDC and deploy it into the DeFi ecosystem. And I'm going to show you all a live example of how our private community members are actively doing this in the now. Take a second here and listen.
Working with, of course, Symbiotic and of course, Brandon and Cardao. And maybe last point of data, if you look at the TVL that has been flowing into staking and Bitcoin DeFi since the beginning of this year, it's booming, it's coming. All of our customers are asking for it, and sometimes very institutional customers. It's coming. All of our customers are asking for it, and sometimes very institutional customers.
It's booming, it's coming. Very institutionally based clients are asking for it. Okay, that is directly coming from an industry leading expert that deals directly with institutions. Now take a second and listen to this video clip where he talks about, lending your digital assets and borrowing USDC against them, and then taking that USDC and being able to go and utilize it in the DeFi ecosystem.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add a couple points. I mean, it touched on a lot of great stuff. So just another point is that I think it just enhances the use case of Bitcoin, because if you think of institutions or folks holding Bitcoin in custody, it's actually a negative carry asset. It costs you money to hold Bitcoin, and no one wants to sell Bitcoin. So if you can add some sort of native yield that's sustainable through block rewards such as Core or Babylon or these unique hash time lock staking mechanisms, it's real yield, not some sketchy centralized lending market thing. That's a great way to get some yield, and it changes the economics of everything. Whether you're a TradFi institution that's offering structured products based on these yields to investors or on-chain money markets, it just changes absolutely the economics of everything. So I think it actually enhances Bitcoin, and you're going to see folks wanting to hold the LSD. So if you're a market maker, if you're an insto, if you're a retail user, you're just going to want to hold the LSD. You're going to want to use that as your collateral asset as it's accruing yield, and you're going to want to borrow stables against that because it just makes economic sense, and it just enhances the asset that much more.
So what is he talking about again in terms of Bitcoin, but relate that to XRP? Okay, again, he's saying that this provides use cases to Bitcoin where people who don't want to sell their Bitcoin, they can go, they can lend it, and they can borrow against their Bitcoin, and they can take that USDC, right? And then they can go and utilize that in the DeFi ecosystem or in the crypto ecosystem instead of having to sell their Bitcoin. This is huge. All right. And I'm going to show you guys physically how we here at CYPRX are already taking advantage of these opportunities. So I said to you guys in a post the other day, and I always like to show you guys proof in the pudding. Power of lending and borrowing XRP. One of our private members just flipped their investment into $100,000 using DeFi strategies in a call out that we made in our private community on April 3rd. This is the power of adapting and leveling up with the right digital skills. In this decentralized era, it's not just about working harder, it's about moving smarter. Those who stay curious, keep learning, and take bold action will be the ones who truly rise to the top. And we can see here in our private community, one of our members in our Discord said, huge shout out to Cypress and Mr. Aquaman. Wouldn't have discovered this project without you. I lent my XRP on Metal X and borrowed USDC against it and deployed it into Shekel, right? Now, Shekel is a digital asset that has not anything necessarily to do with today's video breakdown, but just to show you guys, okay, here is the Metal lending platform, right? Where one of our members in the community took the DeFi University, saw how we are borrowing against our digital assets, took annotation of that, and then took action. And you can see here, this is the MetalX lending platform. And it says, how do I put my crypto to work on MetalX lending? Users can put their crypto to work by adding their tokens into a lending pool from which you will earn interest when people borrow. Why should somebody take out a crypto loan? Cryptocurrency loans allow people to access cryptocurrency that they don't currently own without having to sell the cryptocurrency that they already own.
And also enable high net worth investors to borrow against crypto holdings. So if you've been holding Bitcoin for a while and you're sitting on significant profits, but you don't want to sell, you can borrow against the Bitcoin to continue to hold and take advantage of future gains. So that's a very popular product for us now.
So our private community member did not want to sell their XRP, but they still wanted to buy the digital asset Shekel. So what did they do? They took their XRP to MetalX, they lend it, they borrowed USDC against it, and then they went and they took that USDC over to Shekel, and they invested that USDC into Shekel when we made this call out, right? Where I let the private community know that I was buying Shekel aggressively, considering how discounted it was from its all-time high. And you can see that significant price appreciation. Now, this is just one of the many examples of what you're going to be able to do with your digital assets in the future, lending, borrowing against them. And I've shown you guys previous panel discussions where industry leading experts on stage said that institutions will not leave these opportunities on the table once things become clear.
And one of the North Stars for this.
And I think you look at a market that's north of 10 trillion of assets. It's all paper.
Yeah.
There's really no digitization, blockchain or otherwise. And so I think it's only a matter of time until you can perform those other functions, lend, borrow, provide liquidity to facilitate trading, these types of things, which also enhance your returns.
Yeah.
Right. So by making it composable, now you can actually boost your return on top in a fundamental way.
Yeah.
And so I don't think, smart money is going to leave that on the table once they understand the mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm physically showing you guys examples that we have the ability to do this in the now. This is huge. Okay. So if we come over here to a document, a fundamental breakdown from Analytics Insights from May 5th, 2025, it talks about here, XRP News introducing XP Finance, a non-custodial lending and borrowing protocol on the XRPL. This is all updated info. down here at the bottom, it says the XRPL ecosystem is currently experiencing an unprecedented expansion in partnerships with the launch of RLUSD and its market cap sitting at over 300 billion. And didn't we listen to a panel discussion of Monica Long just the other day saying that the DeFi ecosystem is going to explode in the coming months, right?
It's all coming together. So we've talked for a long while about institutional decentralized finance. Many of us here talk about institutions coming into the world of blockchain and DeFi. And this is going to blast that into a new milestone, kind of a new stratosphere.
A new era of DeFi is about to be unleashed on the XRP ecosystem, with decentralized lending poised to become one of the fastest growing areas. By launching on XRPL, known for its rapid settlement speeds, scalability, and energy efficiency, XP Finance leverages an already robust blockchain infrastructure to deliver unmatched user experience and financial opportunities. The primary token of XP Finance is known as XPF, and it plays a central role in the protocol's ecosystem. Now, I'm not going to go too much into detail onto this, but we're seeing these solutions being built out on the XRPL for the first time in history, where whales that have held XRP for years are now going to be able to take that dormant XRP and actually go and generate yield with it.
Like BTCFi in XRP ledger. And it was created to unlock economic opportunities for XRP holders by allowing them to yield on their assets. One of the key limitations of XRP ledger is that it does not support that native staking like POS chains like Ethereum, and this creates a situation where a large amount of XRP remains dead, like useless.
I didn't know
especially, that. Yes, in the hands of whales who got enormous amount of XRP, but have no incentive to participate in DeFi ecosystem. So we think this is the problem for whales. To solve this, we developed a protocol named XRPFi, and this enables users to stake their XRP in a DeFi-like environment in our system.
This is massive. And as an XRP investor who has literally been invested in XRP since 2017, imagine if that whole entire time up until now, we have been able to generate yield on our XRP, how much more digital assets we would have. Okay, so take these things into consideration. They're unfolding at a very rapid pace. And I'm showing you guys physical proof that industry leading experts are telling you guys this to be the case. Now, for all those naysayers out there, take a second and listen to what this gentleman says about how liquid staking is actually important. It is an important part of the crypto ecosystem. Take a second here and listen.
Now everybody, wants BitVM. I think like people who, say, oh, liquid staking is bad for Bitcoin, I think it's a narrative thing, or it's maybe just, trying to go for attention of people, because it makes absolutely no sense. Like that statement by itself, like, oh, liquid staking is bad for Bitcoin, that don't have any ground to stand on, right? I mean, Bitcoin is being used by anyone however they want to use it. That's the whole premise. Now, if I want to use my Bitcoin on a centralized exchange, I can do that. I can pick my risk profile, I can put it on Binance, OKX, and that's great. But if I want to use it in DeFi, like many people do, and we have proof of this, there's a lot of Bitcoin already in DeFi. Yes, it's still centrally wrapped, but still, it's more transparent than centralized exchanges. Yes, the wrapping is centralized, but then everything else afterwards is decentralized. And liquid staking just gives you another tool and actually makes Bitcoin much more powerful. And I would argue it's actually
liquid staking is just another tool, and he's talking about how it makes Bitcoin more powerful. Take that into consideration. Again, in terms of XRP, it makes XRP more powerful because instead of financial institutions it being a liability for them on their balance sheet, now they can actually generate yield with their XRP. And this unlocks so many opportunities, which is why, XRPL's David Schwartz, if you all have heard him talk on previous panel discussions, he's primarily talked about how their focus for the XRPL is institutional DeFi.
For the last so many years, talk to me from your standpoint, from building Ripple for so long, from going through the ups and downs at Ripple, being here today, what it means for you.
It's tremendously exciting. I feel like we really are on the cusp of a mass institutional adoption, both of DeFi and of other blockchain technologies.
Enterprise DeFi adoption. Okay. So make sure that you all are paying attention to detail. As always, just trying to show you guys the realest information. These things are becoming readily available. And if you do not know how to utilize these DeFi solutions properly, you risk potentially falling behind, not only in terms of your education, but in terms of how you can actually leverage your digital assets to your benefit. So head over to CYPRXtrading.com, tap in with us over at the Wealth 28 Club. We'd love to have you on the team, showing you all how we are getting our idle digital assets to generate us passive rewards. Remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and deploy into the DeFi ecosystem, nor am I telling you guys to go out there and buy the digital asset XRP. What I am asking that you all do is you take a proactive approach to educate yourselves on the things that are becoming available to us as retail investors to put our liquidity to work and start to generate passive rewards, becoming our own bank with these digital assets. As always, many blessings to you guys. Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Be cognizant, be aware out there, and I'll see you all in the next video breakdown.